Thanks for joining today's session. Today we are going to talk about the other two ways to create an application server apart from what we have created yesterday, and we'll also see deployment of dimensions and cubes from acceptance environment to production environment, and what do we do, and what are the steps involved in that and all. Okay. And if time permits, we'll also talk about the backup operations and operations console concepts. Right. Fine. So yesterday we have created an application server through IBM Cognos configuration utility file. Okay. So today we will be creating through command prompt, which is by a service. Let us go ahead and open Architect. Okay. This is an Architect, and we are now into Server Explorer. We have opened an application server here as data, which we have got here 6 TM1 objects. Okay, so in order to create a service through command prompt, same way how we have created the directory path, there's no change in that. Okay, and here is the directory path. Let us create a path here. Application server name is English, let's say. Just a minute. Okay, let us create 2 folders in this. This is standard procedure where we follow on a it's all actually one time setup. Yeah, we don't do this each and every time. Okay, so please understand that you have to create this format and this procedure in a careful way. Yeah. In this, let us copy one of the configuration file, which is available in another application server. We'll reuse that. Control C. I'm pasting it on the desktop. Okay, so here let us open this and change couple of parameters which are required. The server name is going to be English. Database directory is going to be this is the database directory where I would like to copy my configuration file. Okay, I'll just paste it over here. Admin host is nothing but your computer name. Right click on that my computer and check for your computer name over there. Server port is would be in unique port number. Anything, as I mentioned yesterday, ranges from 5000 to 49,151. You can have anything in that. So close this. Okay, and now copy this configuration file. Excuse me. Copy this configuration file into the data directory. Make sure that you have administrator privileges on the server which you are going to copy. Usually you should have administrator privileges. A account should be there for you to do that activity. Okay, so come out of that. Now as you see, this is a version folder. It's got only one file in this, and there are no multiple files in this. Okay, and now based upon this, what we do is we go to command prompt in administrator mode. We open that command prompt in administrator mode. Okay, that's mandatory. Right, so make sure that cd tab, make sure that wherever you use an IBM folder, in that there will be one bin folder, bin 32 and bin 64. If you have done a 64-bit installation on a 64-bit machine, it will be in all the exe files and all will be sitting in bin 64-bit folder. IBM is available here. Cognos. C10 is for BI, this is for CAFE, this is for TM164. Browse through that path, bin 64-bit folder. In this folder, there will be a command called, there is an executable file called TM1SD. .exe hyphen install hyphen n, and application server name is going to be English, okay, hyphen z, and the path of the data directory, this is the path. You provide that path over here. Okay, provide the path here, and when you hit enter it will say TM1 server installed, but you may not be able to witness that server over here because you created it manually, not through command, not through Cognos configuration utility file. So what happens is it will create a service. So that service will take care of the data transfer between your data directory, which is located in D drive or E drive, and your RAM memory. So whenever this service gets loaded or restarted, the data in the data directory or in the hard disk will be copied into the RAM memory. When you save it, this data will be saved from RAM memory to hard disk. So that connectivity will be done by this, or that message transfer will be done through this service. In order to witness those services, go to services.msc. Okay, services.msc, and in this you can witness that service over here. You can see that service over. Currently it is not running. We have not created it. Now we are going to hit enter button. It will create. It will say service English display name English installed. Now you're going to refresh this. You'll see that English over here. Right click on it. Properties, automatic. Click on apply. Click on OK. So this service is now automatic. The reason is, if I say automatic, whenever I restart the services, automatically, or whenever I restart my reboot my machine, automatically that service will pick up. Now I'm starting the service. Usually when you start the service, you'll encounter one error called 1067. That signifies that the path you have given is something wrong in that. The path is given something wrong in that, or the data directory which you are referring to is something wrong in that. Whether you are referring to program x86 folder or 64-bit folder, whichever it may be, that should be a problem in that. And in rare situations, you might also have a memory gap issue also. You might not have memory to look into it. Okay, so that was the first thing. All right, so alright, now go and check it out in the architect file, refresh available servers. English is available here, username is admin, and there is no password for that. And this is the data directory path. So what we usually recommend is have your installation done on C drive, okay, and the data directory should sit in D drive or E drive or F drive. Since I have only one drive, only one C drive is available, which is a 500 GB. So I have not configured with a different drive, but that's what is recommended always. Now you can check it out in this TM1 English folder data directory. You have list of all supporting files for this particular application server. So this is how usually you track the details or you maintain the details in TM1 environment. Okay, that's one thing. This is second way of creating an application server. Third way of creating an application server is go to File, Options, browse through the local server. You click on this option called Local Server Data Directory, browse through it, and you'll find a list of all sample application servers browsed over here. Click any one, whichever you want, proven techniques, or click on Open, and just ensure that you connect to local server on startup and click on OK. That on the when you open your architect, that service will start, that local service will start, and it will pick up the information from that local server. The reason with that option is to ensure that the data can be transferred for transferring the information from your hard disk to your RAM memory. That's the third option. Okay. Ensure that the port configured for this sample application server is also a different one. You have to make sure that the port number should be unique and it should not occupy already having a port number. That's the first thing which you have to look into. Okay, that's the third way of creating an application server, which is a local server. Okay, so when do we use local server? In a very rare situation, we take the advantage of this local server and we configure the operations in the machine on the particular machine in the TM1 servers. Okay, when do that rare opportunity comes is deploying the cubes, or retrieving the information or cubes from one environment to another environment, and rather than you putting it into your own production environment which is of 3 GB or 4 GB, and if you restart the services it might take half an hour 45 minutes to come that services alive, because that data has to be transferred from hard disk to RAM memory, so it might take half an hour to 45 minutes. We have a fine-tuning mechanism, I'll explain you later. But if this is the case, then what is to be done is, or what is to be recommended is, what is to be taken care is, you know uh, the lesser size of the application server has to be considered to copy the data uh, the hard disk to the TM1 RAM memory. So that was the primary reason why you go with the local application server in the TM1 environment. Okay, is it clear? Is it clear with these two options? Yeah. How about you, Raj? Is it clear, sir? Why we use local application server and why we use this application server? I mean, the service-based or the Cognos configuration-based application server. Okay, great. That's the first part. Now, this is as good as a virgin folder here. As you see here, we don't have anything in this. We don't have any other stuff in this. It's a brand new one. Okay, no dimensions, no cubes, nothing is available in this to browse the data. Now management will say, let's say this is a production environment. English is a production environment, and management says, can you please deploy the dimensions and cubes into this particular application server which we have created in another environment. So when they say another environment, that could be in this format. Let's say cash flow management cube. Yeah, I'm retrieving this onto the desktop. Okay, they've given these set of dimensions and cubes to me. These are the dimensions and cubes pertaining to that particular cube. Okay, so they have collected all these dimensions and cubes. Dimension is in the extension of dim, cube is in the extension of .cub. Any views will be in this format .vue and all. So they say that take a backup of that particular dimensions and cubes, copy it and paste it onto the server which you want to restore. Say I want to restore it onto the Cognos TM1 samples English data. I want to restore it here. I'm restoring it onto this desktop. Okay, all these files have been copied now. These are all the files, new set of files. These are copied into the hard disk. Okay, the data directory or your database. You call it as database in layman words. So now, are they available here? Even if I refresh the available servers, they're not available here. The reason is the application server is not restarted. Go to that English, stop the service. When you stop the service, what happens is whatever the data is in the RAM memory which you have entered, in case that will be saved in the hard disk, incremental update will happen. Not the complete information will not be taken into the backup. So when I say an incremental update will happen in the backend, there will be a log file that will record all these files. I mean, all these transactions. It will look into that record or log file, and it will do an incremental update. It will compare. Actually, that's the nature of saving the data from one environment or from RAM memory to the hard disk. Now, when you start the service, what happens is whatever is there in the hard disk will be copied into the RAM memory. Now, you in the hard disk, you have a new set of dimensions and cubes. Those will be copied into the RAM memory. Now, you just go to File, Refresh Available Servers, log in. I don't think there is a password. Now, you can see some dimensions here and one particular cube. In order to create, what I mean to say is if you have to create this, or if you have to set up this cube, In case, so in order to create this cube, you require all these dimensions. These are all the required dimensions to create this cube or to populate this cube. In case if you fail to copy one of these dimensions, let's say scenario weekly is not copied by some reason, scenario weekly, right? Scenario weekly, I'm deleting that from here. Okay, I'm just deleting it, and I'm deleting the cube also from here. Okay, I'll delete that scenario weekly also from here, because if it is already loaded, it is loaded. Refresh available servers. Okay, I'll go and restart my services now. I've deleted only one dimension. Do you think the cube will be populated? You see, the cube is not populated here, but the dimensions are populated. If I place the dimension back, scenario weekly, this particular dimension back into the hard disk, come on, into the hard disk, it is copied here. Now I go ahead and restart the services, and now I check over here. Hey, come on. Scenario weekly is available here. Cube is not populated. Why? Cube is available here or not? Okay, we have deleted the cube also. My bad. We shouldn't have done that. Deleted the cube also. We deleted the cube from the architect. We have not deleted from the data directory. So when we deleted in the architect, what happened? We saved it. So that saving is done in the hard disk also. So immediately that cube also got deleted. Now you are putting this cube back here. Okay, I'm putting this cube back here, which is of 10 MB file, but still I don't have it here. Still I don't have it here. Now restart the services. Now refresh the file, refresh the available servers, because it will kick you out if you restart the services. Now you can check out that cube is available here with scenario weekly dimension over there. Okay, you get the point? How we restart the services and how we deploy the dimensions and cubes from one environment to another environment. This is one way of deploying the dimensions and cubes. Is that clear? This is one way of deploying the dimensions and cubes, hard way, restarting the services. You can't do this on a daily basis, or on an hourly basis, or on a weekly basis. The reason is, on a weekly basis is agreed, I don't deny on that, but on a daily basis you can't restart the production services, and you can't ask all the users to log out of the machine. Now no one is connected, and I'm doing it in an easy manner. But if someone is connected, we have to communicate with them. We have to broadcast a message saying that we are performing server manager. If you go here, broadcast a message, select all the clients who are connected to that application server, and tell them that can you please save your data and log out in 10 minutes. This message will pop on that screen, and immediately after 10th minute you can shut down the server or disconnect the server, and you can restart the services. Whenever you want, you can do it. The scheduled process has to be maintained. You cannot do it on your own. Please understand that fact. Okay, instead of doing this in this fashion, what we usually recommend is right click on that cube, export as text data. It will be exported with all the dimensions and all the data into the CMA file sample. Okay, it will process the file. All the transactions which are recorded in this cube are extracted into a CMA file. That CMA file will act like a data source for me in production server. Through Turbo Integrator, I will create that CMA file as a data source, and I will populate the data into the cube. That is the second way, without taking down the services. The first procedure is to take down the services. Second procedure is extracting the file from one environment, exported successfully. It's got huge records. Sample. The size of this file is 97 MB. 97 notepad, 97 MB for notepad file, which means some 100,000 records have been been recorded over here. It will take some time to open. That's okay. So that will act like a data source here. Go to the environment, text, browse through that file, whichever you have downloaded. Yeah, you'll have the list of all the transactions here. Sample transactions are viewed here, 10 transactions. You provide the variables and dimensions and other stuff and all, and automatically you click run this process through Turbo Integrator, which is an inbuilt ETL tool, and the data will be populated into that cube. An incremental update also can be done. It need not to be on a complete setup. You need not do that on a complete data loading. Okay, I don't want this. Simple. Okay, is that clear, gentlemen? How do we populate the data from one environment to another environment? This usually happens between development to production, production to acceptance, any environments. Okay, and now people will ask us, sir, can we make sure that the entire backup which you are having, this English data, can we take the backup of this particular drive, this folder? So since it is an hard disk, it doesn't mean that it has to be done. Yeah, what I mean to say is you just have to right click on that, sir, cube, right click on that cube and export as text data. That file will be exported. If you want to populate that exported file as acting like a data source, right click on the process, text, browse, and you can. We will talk about Turbo Integrator down the lane. I'm just telling you how to do that activity. All right. Is that clear? Raj, is that clear? Okay, great. Yeah, fine. So now management will say you're taking the backup into hard disk. We agree with that, but it doesn't mean that hard disk will not get corrupted, or it is permanent. Something wrong will happen with hard disk. In that case, how do we manage the things? There should be some procedure to manage the things with particular scenario also. So in that case, what we usually recommend. Okay, yeah, sorry, it got disconnected. Fine. So now what I'm trying to say is, if you have to take the backup of that particular hard disk, so then what is recommended or what needs to be done is you have to ensure that the entire hard disk data directory has to be taken into backup. That you can't come here and click on Control A, Control C, and you can't do that on a daily basis. And that too, when the services are running, or when the application server is running, you're not supposed to take the hard backup in such way. You have to exclude one particular file called tm1s.configuration file. This file has to be excluded when you want to take the backup. In 9.4 or in 9.5 older versions, you have to exclude tm1s.configuration file, tm1s.lic file, lic file, and tm1s.rastore file. These are the three files which you have to exclude. Okay, as you observe here, each and every time when I restart the services, it is creating a log file with that date stamp and time, date and time stamp. You can see, observe here, 3 log files. What are all the transactions cubes serialized and what happened to that particular. This is the log file that is maintaining the incremental update of that information. Ongoing is recorded in this. It cannot be opened because it is ongoing. You cannot open this. And once it is saved or it is logged out, or that when you kill that services, it will create with a timestamp. Otherwise, this is ongoing. tmns.log file. This is log file and tmns.configuration file. So when you want to copy the data from hard disk to another hard disk or to another drive or onto a pen drive when the services are running, ensure that this tmns.configuration file should not be copied. You exclude this configuration file. Okay, exclude this configuration file from that particular environment. This is mandatory. Okay, this is mandatory. Fair enough. Okay. In older versions, as I mentioned, it is a tm1s.lic file or a tm1s.rastore file. Okay, but those are not available in 10.2.2. Okay. So exclude that file, copy everything, Control C, paste it onto your desktop or wherever it may be. Set. This is a manual process. We don't want to do this. Can we automate this? Yes, we can write a batch script. So in order to write a batch script, what I recommend is, or what I usually prefer is, where is the batch script? 04 scripts. Yeah, here it is. You can see this batch script, edit. So which is older than a week, and the paths have been given here, and it creates a data directory, and xcopy is the command which is used as a backup, and we take the back exclude that list. This exclude list will have those three files in older versions, but in new version we'll exclude the tmns.configuration file, and we will follow this process. Now this is the procedure. Usually a batch file is written at echo of, the batch file is written to take the backup from one environment to another environment. You can see here the copy is happening from 138 to 136. That's the server name. That's how usually we manage the things in the system. Is that clear? Okay. So this is the script which we usually follow, and we take these things into consideration. And if you want to start the service, IAS service, and stop the IAS service, we have got the batch file for that as well. We've got the batch file for that as well. Start IAS service. If you open it, net start. IAS admin service is not required in 10.2. It is going to be Apache Tomcat. So this is not at all required.